Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acting Creative, and this is a Handwoven Experience, episode 100. Yes, we've arrived at triple digits, my friends, and it is all because of you. Because of your questions, your comments, your encouragement and support. That is how we arrived here, all of us together in triple digits. So thank you so much. This is all because of you. So without further ado, let's march on to episode 100, Double the Width. Yes, today's topic is about double weave. Now, just to make sure we all understand what double weave is a technique that allows you to weave two layers at the same time. Now, you can do a lot with two layers of fabric going simultaneously, but one of the most common applications is to take those two layers and connect it on one side so that this side is open and this side is closed. So when it comes off the loom then and you unfold it, you have double the width, right? This is a great technique when you have a smaller loom or you just want to make really, really wide fabric. It's perfect for that. So let me give you a visual to help us out here. Okay, so my project here's how I have it set up for us. I'll put that down. I have the open side over here. Let's see if we can see that. There we go. See my two layers there, right? Like that. And then I have the closed side over here. This is where my fold is. See how it's all connected? All right, so that gives you kind of a frame of reference. All right, so imagine this piece of paper is our project, right? I have the open side over here, and I have the closed side here. When we go to weave this type of project, we have to be able to get the top and the bottom, but only connect it on one side, right? So here's how this is gonna go. We're going to weave the top, then we're gonna come around the fold, and we're gonna weave the bottom, and we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna come back and weave the top. So you're always making this kind of like a C shape, like letter C. You're always making this kind of motion with your shuttle and your weft yarns, going back and forth like this, all right? So let's talk about how you actually do that. All right, now, for visual reasons, I decided to make my two layers two different colors. So you'll see that my top layer is purple. See the purple there? Kind of a cranberry. It's purple, we'll say. And the bottom layer is orange. All right? So I kind of mix and match my colors, but that's the bulk of it. When you see the big orange block, that's the bottom, purple block, top. Okay, so that helps us kind of visual. And if you've never done double weave before, that's a great idea. Don't worry too much about making it this perfect piece of fabric. Just use whatever visual cues you can so that you can kind of you can grasp the concept of it. All right, now I have a 4-shaft loom, which means that if I'm weaving two layers, I can dedicate 2 shafts to each layer, right? So I'm gonna do plain weave on both the top and the bottom layers. Plain weave, 2 shafts, perfect. Over, under, real basic, right? Okay, so remember our little C shape? Here's how this looks. I'm gonna lift just 1 shaft because this is for the top, right? So I have 1 shaft up and the rest are down. I'm gonna send my shuttle through there, just like that. Pull my beater bar forward. Now, I wanna get to the bottom next. So I have to lift the entire top layer out of the way. So I'm gonna put my foot down on those 2 layers. This makes up the top. And I am going to separate just one of the shafts for the bottom. So I'm gonna come around the bottom here. Now remember, we're making our C shape. I am gonna keep the top layer up, and then I'm gonna switch. And basically I just did plain weave on the bottom layer. Now we're coming back to the top. So I'm back to just having one. I want the bottom layer out of the way just so we can finish up the top, just like that. All right, should I do it one more time? Here we go. Okay, so I'm at the open side right here. That's where I like to start. Just kind of helps in your head. Send the shuttle through. You only have 1 shaft lifted of your 2 for your top. All right, now I need to get the top layer out of the way. So I'm gonna lift a lot. I'm gonna lift the entire first top layer and then part of the bottom. Send that through for the bottom. Switch so you get the other kind of part of plain weave for the bottom there. There we go. And then we're coming back around to the top. You get the other one just like that. Cool, right? And that is how you are going to create a fabric that has a fold on one side and is open on the other. So when it's done, you unfold it and it is double the width. Now, let's talk about the fold. There's a lot of tricks that come with how do you make this nice and even. So here are my thoughts, my friends. Work towards a point when you can just control this, that you can do it evenly enough that that when it unfolds, it's not real tight or real loose. That's what you're working towards. However, if you're just starting out, I realize that control is very hard when it comes to that. So here are a few tips for you when it comes to managing the fold. Now, I am going to make a little disclaimer right here that I asked my community about their tips for this, and a lot of these came from the fabulous Cindy Grunwald. So thank you, Cindy, for a lot of these tips for how to manage the fold, because it is tricky, right? You don't want to pull too tight, you don't want to pull too loose. It's kind of a Goldilocks thing, right? So here's some suggestions for you. First of all, put your fold on the side that you typically have more control over. You know, everyone has a side, right? Everyone has one where their edges are nice and straight and lovely, and the other one where it's kind of all over the place. So help yourself out. Put your fold on the side that you have better control. Start there. Another tip is to actually work your pattern so that you can kind of hide that a little bit. However you are organizing your fabric for where the fold is there some kind of change in the pattern, you can kind of hide it, right? That will help, because if it's all like one solid piece, then, or one solid color, sometimes it can be much more obvious. So think about your pattern and how you can help yourself out to kind of disguise that little fold section right there. Another suggestion is to wind more often. And here's what I mean. In this case, I should say forward more often. You know, you have so many inches here where you can weave. And as you get closer and closer to the body of the loom, the warp yarns are stretched farther. And that is going to show a difference in your fold. So instead of waiting for here to undo your break and move the whole fabric forward, maybe just take it back like an inch or two and just forward it a little more often than you normally would. That's going to help with the control of the fold right there. And lastly, I will admit I haven't tried this myself, but I think it's a very good idea. If you really have trouble with this becoming really, really tight, add a fishing line as one of your warp yarns so that your yarns are coming around and wrapping around that. Then when the project is finished, take out the fishing line. What the idea is to make sure that you are stretching out, your weft is coming all the way to the edge, and it's very consistent. And if you have something that is gonna hold tighter there at the edge, that's gonna help you. So those are just some ideas for how to kind of control the fold there, because as it comes off the loom and you unfold it, then you wanna have that kind of as consistent as possible. Now, I will say this. Once you put this in if you're going to wash and dry it, if you put it in the washer and dryer, that's going to forgive a lot of sins. Your yarns are going to kind of shift and they'll kind of move back in place. And however you had it, whatever you were worried about, sometimes that's not as big a deal as you think. So don't worry, get in there, give it a try, see if you have real trouble with the fold, try some of those other techniques. Otherwise, just enjoy it. Have a good time. I think you'll find that the less you worry about it, the less a problem it'll be. So that's what I've got for you. This is episode 100. Thank you so much for going on this ride with me. And I hope you will give double the width, double weave a chance and let me know how it goes, because we could all make lovely, wide, luxurious fabric by just understanding a few techniques when it comes to double weave. All right, my friend, have a wonderful week. Happy weaving.